I'm Christopher with TheeDigital, joined by Daniel and Laura, members of our marketing team. Today we're going to go over what is offsite SEO. Laura, do you want to get started?
Sure. Offsite SEO is basically everything that is not on your website. It's all of the SEO and marketing that is on the internet, but not on your website. So it could be reviews that are on Google or Facebook or Yelp. It could be link building, so having citations across the internet, posting articles on other directories that link back to your website. It's social media, everything on the internet that is not on your website. So, not on your pages, but it links back to your website and promotes your brand, promotes your website across the internet.
If I'm a small business owner, why would I hire an agency to do offsite SEO versus myself? Maybe what is an agency bringing to the table?
Yeah, I think that it's mostly that we're thinking about it all of the time. We know what's on the website. You can have perfect SEO on your website. You can have the perfect headers, the perfect meta descriptions, all keyworded correctly, but understanding how your audience specifically, not just people, how your audience finds the things that you offer, having that understanding is really important. And that is what a marketing agency would bring, is understanding that we have to look at it from a more holistic point of view, understanding that people don't always, search doesn't work by people just typing in exactly what they want, going to your website, converting. There's other things. We're always thinking about how people are actually searching. So we're working with the Google algorithm and humans, the human brain algorithm. People are going to search for something, they might look at it, then they're going to back out and go look at other websites and read reviews of other people that they trust, not just your website. They're going to look at it and then they may kind of forget about your website or forget about your offer, your products, your service. And then they may just be scrolling Instagram or Facebook and see something. So, if you've got your Facebook profile set up, that's off of your website. People are going to be reminded of it. Oh, here they are again. Now I'm seeing them again. I'm reminded of it. And that kind of goes into display marketing and remarketing PPC ads. But people are going to do their research before they convert. And having your brand prove to other people that it is trustworthy. We're across all of these other platforms where people are actually looking. That's really important. So having all of these different avenues for people to get information about you instead of just on your website is really, really important. And that's what an agency is thinking about and understanding. They know where to post things. They know more about that intent, that search intent behind the person, whereas the company knows about their product. They know more about their product than we do, but we understand how people will search for it.
And one of the things that I have always found with some of the smaller business clients is, the focus on just conversions, right? I just want someone to go to my site and convert. And I agree, like that's the main goal. But there are various ways to get there. And I think one thing that's left out are these ancillary ways. We talk about social media, like they always have to link back. But if you go to bigger agencies, you have brand watch. Essentially, there are platforms that you can have that monitor how often your brand is mentioned, how often your brand is getting a thumbs up on a like, and that's across the website. That is, going to your point, Laura, reviews and social media posts and white papers that you put out there, different kinds of content, blogs, etc. And Google's also tracking this. So Google has all these algorithms to track pretty much everything on the website and everything outside of the website. And I think this is something that is commonly missed. We have an opportunity to build awareness for my brand, and Google actually takes that into effect. So that's counting against you or for you, depending on where you are. So if you're a business who has a website, you're focusing only on social media. You're focusing only on conversions. So maybe you're only doing Google search campaigns for advertising. You're doing link building, but you're not doing anything that's really building awareness for you. A social media post, they typically would link back to your website. But Maybe some social media posts don't need to link back to your website. Maybe you just need to build brand awareness. This is something that I think a lot of businesses could have a lot more of, because we're talking about building the top of the funnel. When we're talking SEO, we're talking marketing, we're talking conversions. But if you're not building the top of your funnel, if you're not building awareness for your business, then you're not really doing much to continuously build that funnel up and drive results to your website over time. You're only going to get people who need your business right now. And there's a big difference between a prosperous company that can do that and a company that's just kind of hanging on by what's happening to them right now in the consumer market. Because consumer markets change. As we've seen with COVID, markets can fluctuate rapidly, they can fluctuate dynamically, they can fluctuate to extremes. And so if you're not building your own trustworthiness of your brand, your own awareness of your brand, and adding in tactics like building white papers, building blogs, things like that, then you're going to sell yourself short down the line. And eventually that market collapse, that market drop is going to hurt you. And that's something that off-site SEO can actually help quite a bit with.
All right, you guys have convinced me. I've met with Laura and Daniel, and I've hired you guys to do off-site SEO for me. As a small business owner, what am I looking for to understand that you are driving results for me?
I think you can look at your conversions and website traffic and engagement, because the idea is that you're reaching out to an audience that is more targeted for what you want. You're reaching them before, not before, but as they're looking for you, instead of waiting passively for them to find you. So people have all the information. They've got articles about you. They've got reviews. They've interacted with your social media. They know you by the time that they get to the website and convert. So I think conversion rate, but also more engaged and higher quality leads.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, I think of two things. I think of talent, and I think of the details. And I think we're in a world where everyone can look up something and they can execute it, right? They look up something, how to do it. They look at the steps and they do it. And to be fair, that's fairly accurate. Like, there are a lot of things that we just need to know how to do it, and anyone can just about do it. But in any industry, there is something called talent, and that's what marketing companies cultivate. And it's all in how you do things. It's the details, like as Laura was saying. It's identifying the subtle shifts and the subtleties in the marketing that will actually get somebody to say, "Oh, I want this." And so there's a lot of tools out there for businesses to do their own marketing. There are video platforms, social media platforms, everything. But executing it by yourself, if you don't have any prior experience, versus executing versus a marketing agency, you're going to get such a better return on your investment if you're going to use a marketing agency, because like you said, they live it. We live it every day. We see the problems, we see the issues, and it's the small details and the talent that sets us apart from anybody else.
Thinking about looking at conversions and engagement on your website, and that was a great point about leads maybe down 1 month, but if the engagement on your website and on your different platforms is higher, then usually next month you see leads increase, conversions increase. I think also not just looking at your website, looking at your social media profiles, monitoring those numbers, monitoring your Google My Business profile numbers. How many people are calling directly from Google? And that's where tracking tools come in handy. So you can track phone calls that come in not just from your website, but across the internet. So that is where a marketing company comes in handy, is knowing about those tools where we can track phone calls, not just from your website, but from Google, from an ad, from Facebook or something, from Pinterest. Just because you've got an engaged Instagram following doesn't always translate into conversions. So understanding how to combine that process of that research phase, people are research, they're interested in what you're doing, and then how to move them through that funnel into converting through all of the different types of platforms. It's different on Facebook and Instagram, even. It's different on Pinterest. It's different on Google My Business, the places where people are looking at reviews. That's how it's, there's no one right way to look at how is this working. There's lots of different things we look at.
Yeah, I completely agree. I even talk to some clients, and it works out. I don't know, 70% of the time, 80% of the time, it's a typically useful, where they'll come to me and say, "Hey, our leads are down this month. What's going on?" And this goes back to, again, like refilling your funnel and being aware of a certain brand, things like that, and making yourself aware, I should say, to the market, where there will be a lot of engagement on the site on the same month where there's maybe a lower conversion rate. And I'll look at that, and typically almost every time you'll see conversions increase the next month, because what you're seeing is a bunch of people inquiring about your business. It's part of that funnel again, right? They're trying to understand who you are, what they need, why they need it a certain way, what are their options. You can't deny how important that research phase is for consumers, especially now. Everyone does their research. No one just buys things on the spot. No one's just, you can have the best CTA in the world, they have the best marketing, have the best funnel, and it's still going to be up to them to make the choice. And I think that's a really important note, because tracking your progress, tracking your performance is something that a marketing company, it's really like the biggest thing that we do, is tracking your progress. Because I think a lot of people think they can just post, I can just write a blog, and I can just write a social post, I can fill out my Google My Business profile. But tracking everything, and more importantly, understanding progress, understanding what certain increases or decreases mean. We just discussed how having low conversions but high engagement could actually be a good thing, to an extent. Understanding that relationship between potential sales and final sales, that's somewhere where a marketing company can come in and actually help you out. And I think that's something that also is not really considered that much when someone's considering, like, oh, do I need marketing, do I not need marketing. It's not necessarily, it's always, can I do this work? But they should be thinking, do I know how to track it and actually understand my progress, understand if I'm doing a good job? Because if you don't understand if you're doing a good job or not, and I'm sure a lot of businesses listening to this might be able to say, yeah, that's us. You're just going to be doing things over and over again. You're not going to know if it worked. You're not going to know why something failed, why something succeeded, and you're just going to go, well, that kind of worked because there was some sales that came in last time we did it, so let's do it again, and it fails again. Well, why? So understanding how to track that progress across, and we're talking about offsite SEO, we're talking about lots of different avenues. We've mentioned a lot of them. So it's not just, oh, I'll just track my social media here, my Google My Business here, my blog here, my other backlinks here. It's understanding the whole ecosystem and making sure that it's fit for you going forward. And you can make little tweaks as you go along so you can continuously succeed and readjust as needed.
Thanks, Laura and Daniel, for sharing your thoughts on offsite SEO. I think anyone listening will now have a better understanding of offsite SEO and why it's important. For anyone looking to work with an award-winning web design and marketing company, visit TheeDigital.com to view your portfolio and speak to one of our solution consultants about your project. Bye, guys.